Hackman, that is. Gene Hackman, who plays Imagine If I Told You That. Gene Hackman, the famous Hollywood actor who once wowed the world with their investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa, was betrayed by his own daughter? That's right, this is the shocking story behind the headline. The new body cam for Gene Hackman's daughter causes chaos. The cops have reopened the case because of the shocking things they found in the basement, and what a neighbor said shocked everyone with their new body cam video of the Santa Fe mansion. The disturbing truth is revealed by Betsy's search history on the internet and a mystery box hidden under the floorboards. It wasn't an accident. It was a carefully planned crime. And Gene Hackman's daughter, Leslie Ann Hackman, was the mastermind. Was she greedy enough to want to take her father's multi-million-dollar fortune? Or is there a deeper secret? Gene Hackman's ex-wife, still angry over a long-ago fight, divorce, have worked together with Leslie Ann to plan a cruel revenge scheme. What secrets does that mysterious box in the basement hold? The answers might shock you. Are you ready to find out the truth? Join us as we uncover the haunting reality behind this tragedy. A quest for justice for Gene Hackman. On February 25, 2025, the world was shocked by news of the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman, a two-time Oscar winner, and his wife, the famous pianist Betsy Arakawa. Their bodies were found in a field of bushes. Their luxurious home in Santa Fe County, New Mexico, was found in a state of decomposition. The first report said that Gene died of heart failure, made worse by Alzheimer's and a history of heart problems, and Betsy died of HIV, a rare disease spread by mice. Investigators saw evidence of mice in the garage, but the main house looked like it had not been touched. Betsy's internet search history showed that she had looked up COVID symptoms, like nosebleeds and dizziness, and then canceled a medical appointment. Before she died, Gene's business partner told police Betsy was much younger than Gan and in excellent health. She was obsessive about wellness and had no medical problems I ever heard of. Just as people's grief seemed to settle, a neighbor gave shocking information that led to the reopening of the case. A sealed wooden box with a lot of documents, handwritten notes, and a USB drive full of Gene Hackman's audio recordings from before his death was found shattered the police's earlier conclusions. Then the killer was revealed. Someone so close to the couple that no one could have suspected. Who was this person? What drove them to do such a horrible thing? What secrets were hidden in that mysterious wooden box in the basement? Join us on an exciting journey to find out the truth. From deaths that seemed like they happened naturally to a complex murder plot, orchestrated by the last person anyone would suspect. No, we haven't talked to them in a while. Being a police officer, they carefully looked over every part of the case, from crime scene evidence and witness accounts to forensic reports, and even the smallest clues that had been missed. Eventually, they decided that Leslie Ann Hackman was the main suspect. Why did the police quickly name Leslie Ann Hackman as the main suspect? First piece of proof was phone records. In a shocking story from a neighbor at the police station, Leslie said she had last talked to her father a few days before the incident. He said things seemed fine weeks before he died, but the evidence painted a very different picture. A neighbor said she saw Leslie near the Hackman estate, weeks before the bodies were found, which went against her firm statement to police that she hadn't been in Santa Fe for months. In a call with investigators, Leslie and her sister Elizabeth said they hadn't talked to their parents in a few months. When asked if they had any messages, Leslie said, "No, we haven't been in touch lately." Still, phone records told different stories. There have been no calls, texts, or voicemails between Leslie and her father for months, which directly contradicts her claim that they recently talked. This lie put the focus on Leslie, especially since security camera video and motion sensor data from the house showed some troubling patterns. The second clue came from the estate's motion sensors, which recorded strange, purposely set-off events in the living room hallways and near windows. At first, cops thought of three possible scenarios: the couple's two dogs that are still alive, roaming Gene or Betsy's last movements before they died, or those of an unknown intruder. After a lot of research, the truth came out. The dogs were locked in a different room and couldn't have caused the suspicious activity. Data from Gene's pacemaker showed that it had stopped working before the devices were turned on, so neither he nor Betsy could have moved. The result was scary. Someone had broken into the house, and the fact that they hadn't used force to get in meant they had a key or knew a secret way in, just like an estimate says. Then there was a shocking financial discovery. Just days before Gene's death, someone accessed his private financial documents from a computer in the house. Some pages were missing, Signatures didn't match, and Leslie's name showed up over and over again. She had taken legal action, asking for account information, and questionable moves to redistribute assets, all before the death was officially announced. Why was she in a hurry to reorganize her father's estate while he was missing for weeks? Store surveillance footage showed that she had been in Santa Fe weeks earlier, even though she kept telling police she wasn't there. The timing wasn't just odd, it seemed like it had been planned out in advance. During the crime scene sweep, investigators found another strange thing. There weren't any important medications in the house that should have been there. Jean had a history of heart disease and needed to follow a strict regimen to keep it under control. But those prescriptions were nowhere to be found. When police looked more closely, they found a fake prescription that had been bought under. At a local pharmacy, cameras caught a woman who looked like Leslie picking up Jean's order. She was identified by her gait and the license plate of each vehicle. If Jean had stopped taking his medicine, his heart condition could have gotten worse quickly. Family members say this may have been done on purpose to make his death look like it wasn't suspicious. Leslie's relationship with her father had been tense since he split up with her mother. She felt alone while Jean started a new life with Betsy, a close friend told her. Jean's refusal to back Leslie's failed business venture made her even more angry, and his choice to leave Betsy more money in his will made her even more angry, which led to plans to steal his money. What the proof is against Leslie Ann Hackman painted a picture of a sneaky and cruel plan that police think Leslie carried out. By taking away Jean's heart medication, she caused his condition to quickly worsen, making it look like he died naturally. Investigators think Leslie did this on purpose to trick Betsy. Rodents bringing viruses into the garage, where Betsy often worked, because rodent bait was found at the scene. Betsy's search history showed that she looked up symptoms like nosebleeds and dizziness. It was a fatal mistake to mistake them for COVID and cancel a doctor's visit. Leslie may have known that her story started to fall apart when she was questioned very hard. She couldn't explain some strange bank transactions and kept saying she wasn't paying lawyers to change the will. But emails between her two different law firms told a different story. They said she started talking about inheritance rights on the same day that Jean's pacemaker stopped working. How could she have known unless she planned it all? During a thorough search, a key clue was found in the basement of the Hackman estate. When digital forensic experts looked inside, they found a sealed wooden box hidden behind a fake wall. Inside were dozens of handwritten notes, many of them with dates, and a sealed file marked top secret that contained a password-protected USB drive. Forensic analysis proved that the recording was real, even though Jean Hackman's voice was worn out and had long pauses and labored breathing in a recording from 6 months before his death. Jean spoke with grave conviction. "I no longer trust some people I once loved. I feel watched. I don't know what's happening. If something happens to me, check my will. It's not the one I wrote." A scanned copy of a different will was also on the USB. Jean left his entire estate to Betsy, who set up a scholarship fund and donated to charity, but not to Leslie Ann. This document, which was signed and witnessed months earlier, was very different from the changed version that Leslie had been after. A financial audit of Leslie Ann was completed, which showed that money started moving weeks before Jean's death was announced. There were secret withdrawals, offshore transfers, and payments to shell companies. Each amount was small enough to avoid scrutiny, but together they showed a planned scheme. The start of her plan, with a lot of proof. Police issued a formal arrest warrant for Leslie Ann Hackman because she opened accounts, filed legal papers, and started transactions to move money around. All of these actions pointed to a carefully thought-out plan that was put together over time. She was accused of many things, including financial fraud, obstructing justice, forgery of legal papers, and plotting to seize in. At her trial, prosecutors showed a scary timeline that connected Leslie's every move to the last days of her father's life. No act of impulsivity or risky gamble. It was a cruel and cold plan. The court quickly gave its decision. Leslie Ann was found guilty on multiple counts, and Jean Hackman took away any money she had left to her. All the money that was illegally sent was taken and sent back to the charities Jean had quietly supported throughout his life. People who thought about this story were struck by the heartbreaking truth that greed can turn people who are closest to us into enemies. Jean Hackman and his wife didn't just die of illness or bad luck. Jean's death is a stark reminder that fame and wealth, no matter how great, can't protect us from the invisible daggers of those we trust the most. This isn't just a family tragedy, it's a sobering warning to all of us. Be careful with the people you trust. Because sometimes the biggest danger is in the person you least expect it to be. What do you think about this sad ending to the story of Gene Hackman and his wife? Gene Hackman spent his whole life giving acts that people will never forget. But his last part seems to be one he didn't want. He was the victim of a crime planned by his own daughter. What a sad ending for the legend. Gene Hackman. Was Leslie the only one who planned this? Or are there still secrets hidden in the Santa Fe estate? What do you think about this story? Leave your answers in the comments below and tell us which of Gene Hackman's parts will always be special to you. If you want us to keep exploring mysteries like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks for coming along with us.